Adam is traveling north from the medieval town of Volterra and heading to the city of Pistoia. Adam explores the metalworking history of the city that flourished in medieval times. And he explores the traditional pasta sauce of the region made with local mushrooms and served with penne.
During my pilgrimage, I've come to understand the influence artisans have had in the development of each city and region. Pistoia is famous for its metal craftsmen who have produced some of the earliest knives. But how did the tradition of metalworking help to make pasta a global food? Join me as I find out how on my pasta pilgrimage. The nursery business is a key industry in this area, with over 1,000 companies on the valley floor.
The history of nursery in Pistoia started around 150 years ago, in 1850. Before then, Florence, who is very close to Pistoia, was a capital of Italy. The nursery started to grow plants for the capital. Many oak trees, many conifers was in that time grow for Florence. The people choose to grow in Pistoia because we are in a valley. All around we have a mountain, the Apennine, and it is very well protected by the winds. And the soil is very fertile and very deep.
Perfect conditions.
Condition for growing. We grow more than 2,000 varieties.
2,000 varieties?
Yeah. And the plants grow in the field. After a few years, we move in pots. And we look the plants about 1 or 2 seasons in container. And after we start to sell to the market.
So some of these big trees behind us, how old and how long have they been grown?
No, they are plants that are coming from 2, 3, 5 generations before. Those are plants 300, 200, 300 years old.
So the nursery industry, it's very important to Pistoia now.
In Pistoia there are 90,000 people population, 10,000 of them working in the nursery.
So 10%, more than 10%. How do you aim to continue the knowledge of the nursery industry?
In Florence we have a university, but as Vannucci we start a few months ago one school called Campus Vannucci, and there we teach the students for the future, because we need young people for the future.
From plants to silver, after the break, we visited Duomo with an altar that took various artisans centuries to complete. Located in the Duomo of Saint Jacopo, in the small town of Pistoia, lives an altar made of gold leaf and silver.
This altar was built many years ago, centuries ago, from the 12th to the 14th century. It took them about 200 years. The best gold jewelers and scholars were involved, and being able to work on those panels from the Gospel. It was made of both gold leaves and silver.
The altar features in the famous works of Dante Alighieri, where a drunken Vanni Fucci and friends entered the chapel and broke pieces of the altar, later hiding them in an innocent lawyer's house. The lawyer paid for the crime with his life. Dante sent Fucci to the 8th circle of hell, where thieves are punished.
These streets had blacksmiths, goldsmiths, and Pistoia's long history with metalwork is still very evident today.
Like here in this small factory where they've been making knives for over 100 years. This is Alessandro, who comes from a long line of knife makers. Valentino, his grandfather, started the business making knives used by men in the fields. The process hasn't changed much, it's just become more mechanised. Alessandro starts the process by carving out a handle made of ox horn. Then it's on to making the blade. It takes one day to make a knife from start to finish.
Here it is, the final product. Beautiful smooth handle, and the blade is so sharp and it's got a really nice feeling in the hand. This is a great demonstration of these skills being put to use today. As well as being renowned for its blacksmiths and goldsmiths, in the countryside of Pistoia, they grow chestnuts. And if you're lucky enough to be in Pistoia on a Wednesday, a must is this amazing market. And you need to find Maria and Rosanna, who are experts at making chestnut crepes. Ciao!
Ciao!
Maria!
Ciao!
How are you?
How are you?
Very good.
Very good.
Can you tell me what's in the crepes, the mixture?
The mix of this is the farina of chestnuts.
Ah, the
and,
flour of chestnuts, yes.
Yes, and olive oil and the water.
No eggs, no zucchero.
No zucchero, no sugar,
No
no
eggs, no
zucchero.
sugar.
No. This is the farina of chestnuts, and the second war this
Second war, yes.
sweet for more people.
This was a sweet
Yes.
for everybody, for the family. It's a
For the
tradition. Io mangiare uno?
Oh, yes. This is with the ricotta.
Look at that, nice and thin. Look at the color. Back home, I associate chestnuts, I guess, with Easter. It was one of those things my mum always makes for me. She cuts them, puts them in the oven, roasts them. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to
Yes.
trying this crepe.
You taste.
I like them nice and hot, straight off the pan.
It's very hot. It's very hot. Bene,
Grazie, Maria.
bene. Ciao.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao, Rosanna.
Ciao,
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 grazie.
After the break, I meet a family that has helped make pasta a truly global food.
Look at that.
A lot of my time in Tuscany has been about exploring ancient traditions. But now I'm about to meet a family at the heart of modern pasta making.
Adam is visiting the Nicolai family, who have made pasta dies in Pistoia since 1843. The tools for pasta making originated a very long time before that. But as Adam discovers, the ability to improve those tools have allowed pasta to become a global food. Adam chats to Marco Nicolai.
So what is a pasta die exactly?
Pasta dice is a piece of brass, but with some holes. But these holes are very, very important because these holes give the shape to the pasta.
Before mechanization, the inserts for the pasta dies, the cutout that makes the shapes, were forged by hand using copper, a stamp, and a hammer.
The inserts was actually was in copper and bronze, but that finally in the year 1958, more or less, we came out with the use of the Teflon.
Teflon.
Teflon is like an alimentary plastic, an alimentary type of plastic that has no friction. So this allows to bring back the yellow color of the wheat to the pasta.
The natural yellow color.
Yes, natural.
The Teflon also would help with a better finish.
To
Is
better
that too?
finish, better yellow and smooth surface of the food.
Over time, the process of making pasta dies and inserts has become more efficient with machinery, but there is still a requirement for the delicate skill of the human hand.
Marco, all this talk of pasta is making me hungry. What's your favorite pasta sauce?
To be honest, me too, a little bit. But however, I'm happy to eat also tomato sauce. But I was thinking now in this period, why not a good buscaiola with mushrooms? That is the things that I like.
Sounds good to me.
Ah, you find the solution. Okay.
One of Tuscany's special recipes is a dish called penne alla boscaiola, woodman's pasta, named after the surrounding hills heaving with porcini mushrooms.
This is Marco's wife, Cinzia, who's going to show me how to make Marco's favorite pasta sauce.
Today,
Yeah.
I cook for my family boscaiola.
To me, it's looking like simple ingredients.
We use mushrooms,
What
porcini,
porcini?
cherry tomato, pancetta, bacon, and onion, garlic, black olive, and fresh parsley.
And San Remo penne.
And penne.
Perfect. So, what's the first step?
We put the bacon in a pan, no oil,
How long do we cook it for?
2 minutes, 3 minutes. Now we put in another pan the oil,
Extra virgin.
virgin, the onion,
And garlic.
garlic,
And how long do we cook that for?
2-3 minutes when the onion and garlic is brown.
Not black,
No black.
brown.
Brown. Brown. And now we put the porcini mushrooms.
Oh, they look amazing. I love the smell of onion and garlic and porcini. Scusa. So for 10 minutes we cook the mushrooms, so they're nice and
Yes.
soft and tender.
Sale
A little bit of salt.
Yes.
Mushrooms love salt and pepper.
and some pepper, not much.
So a little bit of water to help the mushrooms collapse down.
Sì. Now we put the pancetta
All that flavour in with the porcini. I love it.
and the cherry tomato, olives.
So we allow the tomatoes to come nice and soft.
Soft 10 minutes, 10 minuti.
Okay. So we cook the pasta as
We
well?
cook the pasta.
I'm interested to see how much salt she puts in this water. 1 scoop, 2 scoop. 3.
And we put the pasta.
Pasta for you, madam.
Thank you.
So we'll cook the pasta nice and al dente.
Al dente.
Of course. Look at that. The sugo nice and rich from the porcini. We're missing one thing.
One thing.
Tell me.
This fresh
Parsley.
parsley.
You know what you do with
Okay.
parsley? One in there and then one over the shoulder like this.
No, not so.
Okay, pasta.
Pasta.
That's the best way to enjoy your pasta. Straight from the boiling water into the pan, into the sauce, whilst it's nice and hot. Sucks up all the flavour.
Ok,
Io.
qui lo spegniamo, però riaccendiamo questo.
Uh-huh. Look at that.
Sorry, eh?
Cinzia, I brought the bowl. Look, I'm ready. And my fork.
And now, così.
Can I try? You
No.
mangia? No.
For me, no.
For Marco.
For Marco.
This is
You
for Marco.
try.
No, for me.
For you.
I thought it was for Marco. I got upset there.
Prego.
Cinzia? Very good. Grazie. Thank you so much for
Thank
showing
you to
me
you.
Marco's favorite pasta dish.
Yes.
It's amazing.
After the break, Adam creates a pasta recipe inspired by his time in Pistoia. Adam is back in his kitchen, reflecting on what he has learned in Pistoia.
Cinzia's woodland pasta with angel hair and mushrooms was amazing. And throughout Pistoia, there's a lot of mushrooms and chestnuts. So I thought I've got to combine those two together and create a fantastic recipe using a very unique pasta shape, wagon wheels.
For the full list of ingredients and method, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage.
Firstly, we need to get some butter into our pan and some olive oil too. Just helps stop the butter from burning. Just a splash. And I'm using some beautiful field mushrooms. Some people peel them, I don't. It keeps in all the flavour for me. Just slice them up like so. Keep an eye on your butter there, that it's melting away. It's not burning. Bring your heat up to about a medium to high heat. In with the mushrooms. And I also have here diced shallot, same time together. So you need to saute off your mushrooms and your shallot for about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to add my pasta into our boiling water, salted boiling water. Don't forget to give them a stir. Make sure they cook nice and evenly. Add a little cracked pepper now to my mushrooms. So here we have some pancetta that I'm just going to dice up and add into the pan. So our mushrooms have collapsed down now and smelling absolutely amazing with the pancetta and the shallots. Now, this is my little key exciting ingredient here, some truffle paste. If you can't get your hands on this, some truffle oil is just as good. Watch out though, the truffle paste is quite intense and can be sometimes overpowering, so half a teaspoon is absolutely plenty. Flick that through the mushrooms. Just some cream for our sauce. Stir that all together. Now, we need to bring that up to the boil and then drop it down to a simmer. So we need to give it a couple minutes. All right, let's check our sauce. It's coating the back of the spoon, and that it is. It's just holding on there for about 2 to 3 seconds and running off, so that's where I need it to be. Our pasta is now nice and al dente, so straining straight out of the hot water into the pan. Just give it a flick, over, nice and gentle. Off with the heat. Now, into a baking dish. Nice and easy, fill it up. Grate some Parmesan over the top. This is going to help because when it goes into the oven, it's going to come all nice and cheesy and gooey. Okay, time for these chestnuts. Just crumble the chestnuts over the top. What happens is when those chestnuts go into the oven with that beautiful Parmigiano on top, they come nice and crunchy and then cheesy as well. Gives a nice little texture to this dish. There we have it. In our baking dish now, we're going to place it into a 200-degree oven for 10 minutes to allow it to cook through and become nice and golden and crunchy.
I've learned so much from my time in Tuscany, how the concept of family is central to everything in Italy. I've discovered how Tuscany was at the center of Italian history from the age of the Etruscans through to the unification of modern Italy. And thanks to characters like Napoleon, sometimes at the heart of world history. We take it for granted, but this universal food of golden simplicity directly connects us to hundreds of years of food, history, and culture.
For this episode's recipes, stories and more, visit Adam's Pasta Pilgrimage